everyone! Today I'm going to be doing my autumn book haul, but this is also going to include my October/November library book haul because over the past few months I haven't really acquired a whole lot of books, so I definitely did not have enough to do a book haul, so I figured I would just combine the two and show you all of the books. I still don't have a whole lot. I think there's maybe 9 books here in total, so hopefully this video is still a little interesting. First I'm going to start off with the one book that was sent to me by a publisher, and that is YouTubers by Chris Stokel-Walker. I don't know if I said that right, but hopefully I did. This is a non-fiction book about YouTubers, I assume. The tagline is How YouTube Shook Up TV and Created a New Generation of Stars. I didn't really know what to expect from this. Is this just going to be like the history of YouTube and how it came about, or if it's just going to be like about YouTubers and what they do, or if it's going to dive into the more like controversial sides of YouTube and all of its issues that I'm sure we all know about. But yeah, I don't really know what it's going to be about, but I am interested in reading it and finding out. These next 3 books I got for my birthday. So the first 2 is Gemini and Obsidium by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is books 2 and 3 in the Illuminae files. I absolutely loved this series. It is a sci-fi trilogy. I have featured these books in so many videos on my channel, so I'm not really going to dive into a plot here, although I don't think I ever did in any of the other videos because I really don't know how to explain these stories, but I loved them, and that's all you really need to know. The third one that I got for my birthday is The Melancholy Death of Oyster Boy and Other Stories by Tim Burton. This is a collection of poetry by Tim Burton, which I absolutely love. I read this book, I got it from the library last year, and I read it and loved it, so I wanted to own an actual copy, and I actually read it again this month, like actually just yesterday, and I still loved it. So this is definitely a book that I will probably reread lots more times in the future, so I definitely wanted my own copy, and I'm so happy that I got one for my birthday. Next book I got from my library book sale, and this is actually the only book that I got from my library book sale over the last few months because I haven't really been able to make it to them because of my work schedule, which is unfortunate. Otherwise I'm sure this book haul would have been a lot bigger. But that book is In a Handful of Dust by Mindy McGinnis. I have no idea what this book is about, as per usual. This shocks nobody, but I did read a book by Mindy McGinnis a couple, like maybe last year, I'm not really sure, but it was called Madness So Discreet. I know that one was a lot more popular on BookTube. Like, I haven't really heard anybody talk about this book, and that book was okay for me. I didn't super love it, but I didn't hate it either, and I liked it enough to like read another book by the author and see if I like some of her other work a bit more. So I decided to pick this book up. It looks pretty interesting. I feel like it's kind of set in like a dystopian kind of thing where maybe there's like not a lot of water or something like that, but don't trust my opinion at all because I really have no idea what that book is about. And this next book is the last book that I like physically bought, and that is The Shining by Stephen King. I'm also currently reading this book. I'm like 200 and something pages into it. But yeah, I really wanted to read this book. After reading Carrie by Stephen King and really enjoying that, I decided I was gonna try and read them in like the publication order since Carrie was the first book he had published and that was the first book I read. But then I was like, I just really want to read The Shining because I actually really like this movie. Although I'm trying to kind of separate them in my head because obviously the movie and the books are very different, and like it's famously known that Stephen King did not really like the movie, but I am still really enjoying the book, and like so far they're not too different. They have very much like the same kind of atmosphere to them, and I really like that, so I am really enjoying this book. And it's like 700 pages, which I was not expecting, but I'm really enjoying it, so hopefully it won't take me too much longer to finish. Now jumping into the 4 books that I got from the library this month. The first one is Bright We Burn by Kirsten White. I have checked this book out from the library. I think this is the 3rd time I've checked it out, and I just haven't gotten around to reading it. But this is the 3rd and final book in, I think it's the 3rd and final book maybe, I'm not sure, in the like And I Darken trilogy or series. Like I said, I'm not really sure, but I think this is the end. I really hope it is because for some reason it's taken me a really long time to pick up this book, and if there's another one, the chances of me picking that one up are very slim at this point. But I did really enjoy the 1st and 2nd book, but these books are a lot slower for me to get to, so I think that's why I'm not as drawn to pick this one up, just because it focuses a lot on like the war planning and that kind of thing. It's a little slower, there's not as much like action-y stuff. It's very much more of a character-driven book, which as much as I love characters and I'm a very character-driven reader, I just, for some reason, find these books a lot slower to go through. So hopefully in November I will finally actually pick this book up and finish out the trilogy or series. Fingers crossed I remember what happened in the last two, because it's been a good couple of months now, and we all know my memory with books is not very good, so I'm a little concerned I'm not going to know what's going on. This next one we have is a non-fiction book, and I am actually really excited to read this book, and it is Love, Lucy by Lucille Ball. I actually had no idea until like maybe a couple months ago that she had written an autobiography, and as soon as I heard about it, I immediately added it to my Goodreads, and then finally this month I got around to actually getting it from the library. But if you don't know, I am a super big fan of Lucille Ball just in general, but I absolutely love I Love Lucy, and I've seen all the episodes. I went and I saw it in theaters the other month, and I just love it, and I love her, so I really wanted to read her autobiography. And this is what the back looks like, which is just my favorite thing ever. This next book I actually finished this morning, but I thought I'd feature it in this book haul anyway because there's barely any books in here, so I was just grasping for straws on whatever books I could possibly haul today. And that is I'm Thinking of Ending Things. I talked a lot about this in my wrap-up, which I think will be going up in like 2 days. But yeah, I gave this book 4.5 out of 5 stars. This is like an adult horror. I would consider it to be very like psychological. The whole time while you're reading it, you feel very uncomfortable, a little bit fearful, but you really don't have any idea why, and it's just very much like messes with your head. So yeah, I can't say a whole lot about it. If you want to learn more about my thoughts on it, I would either check out my Goodreads, because I did do like a little review of it on my Goodreads, but also in my wrap-up, which like I said will be hopefully going up in like 2 days. The final book in this book haul is An Unwanted Guest by Sherry LaPena. This is an adult thriller novel. I think this is one of her more recent ones. I want to say it came out last year, but I might be mistaken. I have read 2 of her other thrillers, The Couple Next Door, which I thought was okay, and then what was the other one? A Stranger in the House, which I really liked that one. So I'm pretty excited to pick this one up. I've heard, I obviously don't know what it's about because I never read the synopsis when it comes to thrillers, or most books, but whatever. What I've heard about this book is that it kind of has like And Then There Were None sort of vibes to it, and Then There Were None is one of my favorite books, and I've read like a retelling of it called 10, which I also loved. So just that whole And Then There Were None feel I really like. So I'm hoping I will really like this book. I also feel like this is going to be good to read maybe a little later in November when it gets to be a bit more wintry, because it obviously has a very like snowy cover. So yeah, those are all of the books that I acquired over the last few months, and some of the books that I plan on reading over the next month or so. Leave me a comment down below and let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them. As for like the library ones, let me know which ones I should prioritize and get to first. And yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!
You hear that, Samson?